Out on the outskirts of Browning, Montana, two army buddies are driving a lonely back road as evening closes in, just filming the ride on a cheap camera. The mood is relaxed, casual conversation, laughter, nothing out of the ordinary, until the camera pans past the tree line.
Buddy! How you doing?
There, low to the ground, something crawls out of the woods in a way no normal person should move. In that instant, the joking stops. Instinct kicks in, and they get out of there fast.
What's up, dude?
A lone witness uploads a shaky nighttime clip to a forum dedicated to real Skinwalker encounters, unsure of what they've caught but certain it felt wrong. The title is simple and desperate. Is this a Skinwalker? Not a joke, not clickbait, just a genuine question from someone whose instincts are screaming. In the video, a distant, distorted figure moves in a way that doesn't fit any normal animal, lingering at the edge of the light before slipping back into the dark, leaving only fear and doubt behind.
Crap, is that a guy? What the frick?
In rural Brazil, a small community believes it is being stalked by something inhuman, a lobisomum, a werewolf-like creature that has terrified locals for generations. By the time the footage reaches the 8-minute mark, the investigators have followed strange tracks and unsettling noises deep into the night. Their flashlights cutting narrow tunnels of light through the darkness. The air is tense, every sound amplified, every shadow suspicious. When a distant looming figure appears along the roadside and then again farther down the way, it moves with that unsettling mix of man and beast the legends describe, never fully clear but close enough that the men's fear is real. For the people who live here, this isn't a campfire story. It's a predator they believe still walks just beyond the last house light. In a quiet Fresno backyard, a simple CCTV camera ends up recording one of the strangest shapes ever caught on home security, the so-called Fresno nightcrawler. Around this point in the footage, the enhanced zoom locks onto a thin, pale figure gliding across the yard. It looks almost impossible, mostly legs with a tiny upper section, like a pair of walking white pants drifting through the darkness. There's no clear torso, no arm swing, and no obvious signs of wires or a costume. Just this tall, spindly form moving with smooth, deliberate steps across the grass, as if it has done this 1,000 times before, completely at home in a place where no one was supposed to be watching. On a quiet private driveway just outside Yosemite National Park, a retired couple sets up a security camera to catch human intruders and ends up recording something far stranger. In the grainy night footage, two tall, pale, stick-like figures walk slowly across the scene. Their bodies are almost all legs with only a small upper portion, eerily similar to the famous Fresno nightcrawlers. What makes this clip so unsettling is the way they move, not sliding like an effect, but shifting their weight step by step as if they are truly there in the gravel and darkness. One appears larger, the other smaller, raising the possibility that we are watching an adult and a young one crossing a human driveway like it is part of their usual path through the hills. In Billings, Montana, a home security camera picks up something strange in the corner of its frame. Around the 20-second mark, a faint, pale figure appears in the top right, tall and narrow, almost all legs, moving through the darkness like a pair of walking white pants. As it passes, the microphone records unsettling animal sounds, similar to a pig or another distressed mammal echoing through the yard. The next day, the homeowner discovers a deer carcass not far from where this figure was seen, adding a chilling layer to the sighting and making some wonder if this was just a predator or a nightcrawler caught on camera far from Fresno. A friend goes for a nighttime walk in a nearby national park and comes back with footage that unsettles them enough to ask a very specific question online. Potential Skinwalker? In the clip they share, a dim shape lurks near the tree line. Its outline and movement just strange enough that when the brightness is adjusted, it seems to shift from maybe an animal into something watching. Some viewers insist it is only a possum or raccoon, but others warn that if it is a skinwalker, these things can follow you home, matching the same pattern of dread and gut-level wrongness that so many witnesses describe after an encounter they cannot explain away.
We out here hearing weird noises in the forest. What the fuck? Oh! 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 What the fuck? What the fuck?
Late at night on a deserted street, a CCTV camera records something that looks less like a person and more like a creature sprinting through frame. Out of the darkness, a thin, pale figure suddenly bursts into view. Running low to the ground on all fours, fast and fluid, taking a corner without losing speed in a way that feels disturbingly animal. It races past and vanishes back into the night before anyone could react, leaving viewers arguing over what they just saw. Some say it's drugs or a medical condition, others say it looks like a cryptid loose in a modern city. But almost everyone agrees on one thing: the speed and posture are deeply, instinctively unsettling. Deep inside a flooded tunnel system, an urban explorer who's already walked miles underground starts to realize he is not alone. The walls sweat moisture, the air is heavy, and the roar of rushing water drowns out almost every other sound. As he pushes forward by flashlight. Around this point in the video, his camera catches something ahead in the darkness. Just a glimpse at first, a pale, unnatural shape half hidden by fog and shadow. Each time the light swings back, the presence seems a little clearer, like a figure crouched or standing in the tunnel, watching him from a distance no normal person should be. His breathing changes, his voice tightens, and what began as a dangerous exploration turns into a slow realization that the stories about creatures living in these tunnels might not be exaggerated at all. Far below the streets, in a tunnel no one ever sees, a sewer camera reveals something that looks disturbingly alive. In the beam of the light, a pale, swollen mass clings to the pipe, bulging into the flow as filthy water curls around it. It doesn't sit still. It seems to swell and shift, like muscle or tissue reacting to the current, as if this thing has been feeding and growing in the dark for a very long time. This is not a rat, not a simple clog. It looks like a sewer organism built from everything we've thrown away. Layer after layer of grease, waste, and rot merging into a single pulsing body. If it is alive, then it means something down here has adapted perfectly to our neglect, turning our pipes into its own territory. From the surface, life goes on as normal. But deep underneath, this creature waits in the black water, slowly expanding, unseen, and almost impossible to remove. Late at night on an empty highway, a driver's dashcam captures something darting across the road that does not move like a normal animal. The video quality is poor and grainy, but you can still see a pale, thin figure burst from one side of the highway to the other, low to the ground and unnaturally fast. Its limbs look too long, its posture too strange, almost like a human body forced into an animal's gait. There are no headlights behind it, no visible houses or parked cars nearby, nothing to suggest someone is simply out for a run. It appears suddenly, crosses in a few quick strides, and then vanishes into the darkness beyond the beam of the lights. For believers, that combination of speed, shape, and isolation matches the pattern of a roadside cryptid encounter, a glimpse of something that looks almost human, but isn't. In this roadside encounter, we see a strange, small figure dart across a dimly lit path. The camera focuses on the area where drivers reported seeing a duende, or creature, and here the outline stands out more sharply against the grass. A compact humanoid shape with quick, irregular movement that doesn't match a typical animal's gait. It appears suddenly from under a bush, then quickly crawls to be woods and vanishes back into the darkness, leaving just enough detail for believers to say with conviction that whatever this is, it is not simply a trick of light or a misidentified dog. In the video, you see a dim street scene in India where a pale, human-sized shape moves low to the ground, almost like a person forced into an animal's posture. Its limbs look too long, its back too arched, and the way it scuttles forward doesn't match a normal walk or crawl. The caption calls India a land of wonders and tags Kash Quadrobary, a Russian nickname for these quad-row bears or four-leg humanoids, pushing the idea that this is more than a prank or costume. Instead, it feels like a fleeting glimpse of a creature that blurs the line between human and animal, caught just long enough on camera to raise questions no one can fully answer. In this post, a user shares a still from a Nuke's Top 5 episode and claims it might be one of the clearest close-ups of a crawler they've ever seen. The image shows a pale, gaunt face peering from the darkness. Large, dark eye sockets, sunken features, and an overall skull-like shape that doesn't look quite human. The context is that it was originally part of a longer clip on YouTube, but here the focus is entirely on that single frame, a possible crawler's face lurking just beyond the edge of a yard or tree line, captured for a split second and then gone, leaving viewers arguing whether it's a real entity, a costume, or a trick of light, and whether that makes it more or less terrifying. Two friends are out in the North Georgia woods on the 4th of July, casually filming fireworks, until something in the dark answers back. Around this point in the video, their laughter cuts off when a strange noise comes from the tree line. Deep enough and wrong enough that both immediately go quiet and ask, "Did you hear that?"
Did you hear that?
It's a farm animal.
They move toward the sound with a flashlight, expecting a farm animal, but whatever their light catches is not something they recognize.
What is that? Do you hear that? Do you hear that? What is that? Dude.
You can hear the fear spike in their voices as they whisper that they see something and ask each other what it is, over and over. The creature stays low and partly hidden, making unsettling noises that don't fit any familiar animal. When it reacts to them, the calm is gone. They start shouting to get out of there, arguing about whether to throw a firework or check if it's injured, before instinct wins and they bolt for the car. For a believer, this is exactly how a real encounter plays out. Normal fun, one wrong sound, then pure panic in the dark woods of North Georgia.
What the fuck? What the hell? What the hell?
On a dark road at night, a dashcam captures what looks like a ghostly person calmly walking across active traffic as if the cars are not even there. In the short clip, a faint, semi-transparent human figure appears ahead in the headlights, drifting from one side of the road to the other. The person seems slightly see-through and oddly lit compared to the rest of the scene, with no clear facial detail and no reaction to the oncoming vehicles. Which continue past, without swerving or slowing. To a believer, it looks less like a living pedestrian and more like an apparition replaying its final walk, crossing the same stretch of asphalt over and over while the living drive by, unaware of what is sharing the road with them. A TikTok clip creeps this Redditor out so badly that they bring it straight to a Skinwalker forum, convinced it feels older and more sinister than a typical internet hoax. The footage they describe looks like it was shot on an old film projector reel from around the 1980s. Grainy, washed out, and eerily silent, showing a strange figure moving in a way that doesn't fit any normal animal or person. That outdated look actually makes it more unsettling to believers. There are no modern phone filters, no obvious editing tricks, just a wrong-looking presence captured on what appears to be genuine vintage film. For people in the thread, that combination of old media, unnatural movement, and the poster's honest discomfort is exactly what pushes it into possible Skinwalker territory. In the featured chase segment, the camera points out the back or side of a moving vehicle as a thin, white figure emerges from the darkness, keeping pace on all fours. Its limbs look too long, its gait too smooth and predatory, like a predator built for night pursuit rather than a person stumbling in the dark. At certain angles, its eyes appear to glow when light hits them, a trait associated with nocturnal animals, not humans, adding to the fear that this is something designed to hunt in low light. For believers, that combination of unnatural speed, eerie eye shine, and the way it clings to the edge of the headlight's reach fits perfectly with modern accounts of rakes, crawlers, and skinwalker-type entities. Unseen seems to violently affect them, turning an ordinary moment into what looks like a full-blown haunting. The individual appears to be going about normal business when, without warning, their body reacts in a sudden, unnatural way, either being yanked, thrown off balance, or collapsing as if hit by an invisible force. The static, unbroken camera angle and lack of obvious edits make it feel like raw footage, which is why some viewers see it as possible poltergeist activity, while others suspect a medical emergency, like a seizure, captured on video and later reframed as paranormal. This sits right on the boundary between a violent haunting and a real-world event that looks disturbingly similar to possession on tape. In the clip, the filmer is walking through a field in broad daylight when they zoom in on a distant, unnaturally tall, thin figure standing next to a pole. The shape looks wrong for a normal person, too slender, too elongated, and disturbingly still, almost like a shadow given solid form. As the camera shakes and refocuses, the figure doesn't seem to shift position, maintaining its towering outline against the background. This video spread so quickly, believers see it as one of the clearest modern glimpses of a Slenderman type or Skinwalker-style entity watching from the fields. A workplace CCTV camera catches what looks like a woman out for a casual late-night walk, except the dog at her side looks more like a glitchy demon than any normal animal. In the footage discussed, a human figure moves along outside the building while a distorted, low creature shape flickers and warps beside her, its body stretched and broken up by compression artifacts. The movement is wrong enough that viewers in the thread joke it looks like a woman walking her demon, and several people admit they can't think of any real animal that naturally moves quite like that. Others argue this is exactly what you get with modern CCTV using heavy compression, codecs like H.265 struggling to track fine details frame to frame, turning an ordinary dog into a nightmare shape as the system guesses at missing pixels. Out on the edge of Stardust Ranch, the team's lights finally catch what they believe is a skinwalker, and it doesn't just appear, it screams. They spot a tall, thin figure standing in the dark near the property line, just far enough away that the face is obscured, but the outline of a human-like body is unmistakable.
Are you okay?
Can we help you?
As they shout toward it, a horrible, drawn-out scream rips through the night, too loud and too distorted to sound like a normal person or animal. The creature just stands there, silhouetted against the desert brush, unleashing this inhuman wail while the team panics, curses, and scrambles back, convinced they've come face to face with exactly what the ranch is infamous for, something that looks like a person but sounds like nothing human at all.